Hi, it's Anna from Astralladytarot in Amsterdam. Today, or actually later this evening, because I just filmed a video. This is the first time I'm doing 2 videos in one day. I guess I figure I can actually do this. This is not going to drive me mad at the moment. Today. I am showing you which decks I'm working with at the moment and why. And what they mean to me, why I feel that I need them. Basically, I'm using these decks and I'm analyzing together with you why I'm using these at this point in time, at this moment in my life. Because actually I went on my Instagram and asked some of you, what would you like to see on my channel? What video, tarot or oracle related video, would you like me to make? Would you like to see on my channel? And one of the answers was, I want to see a walkthrough of all of your decks. And while I think that is a great idea and I love watching those myself, I actually believe I have less decks now than when I did the last walkthroughs, or actually the only walkthroughs that I did on here. Maybe I will do that anyway, but I really want to go a little bit more in depth about the decks. I really want to do a little bit more than just showing decks. I really want to talk about why I think I need these. So the first two, absolutely no surprise. If you have seen any of my other videos, you will know my go-to deck, or I've also called this my soul deck in the past, is definitely the Centennial version of the Rider-Waite-Smith, or it also comes in the commemorative Pamela Coleman Smith set. I don't actually have that one, I only have this copy and another copy of the deck alone, and also my Trionfi, Della and Paradoxical. I think they are kind of like, they share first place. Actually, let's talk about both of them at the same time, because I really do feel, I've talked about this, oh wow! Did you see that? Did you see that? Was that in frame? Look at what happened. That is crazy. That is crazy. Okay, I wanted to say, I really do feel like they have an energy that I could really find myself in, that really reflects myself back upon me, and this Centennial is kind of like the daytime energy, and this Trionfi della Luna, the Paradoxical edition, which is dark cards, is the nighttime energy. So there's really like that daily life in this realm idea, and then there's also a place that I like to call the underworld. Now I have made a full video all about the Trionfi della Luna, why it's my #1 deck, why it's my favorite deck. The hashtag was #YourFavoriteDeck, top 1 tarot, maybe both. I'll link it below and you will see how I talk about this deck and why I really truly love it. Let's talk about why I'm using it right now. We are in lockdown. Clearly the children are not. And these two are my home base decks. My Rider-Waite-Smith and my Marseille. Two systems that I love, two systems that I am absolutely passionate about, two systems that I feel I know, and there is still, that's why we love tarot, so much more to discover always. This never ends. This quest never ends. We are never done learning. Now that that's out of the way, I feel, like I said, I feel that it really does reflect me. Now, this is just, I am a creature of habit. I don't know, I've always been like that. As a child, the day that I truly actually fell in love with my #1 stuffed animal, it never changed anymore. There were other stuffed animals that came and that I played with and that I loved and enjoyed very much, but that stuffed dog, I think it was kind of like a doodle thing, he's at my mom's house, never got knocked off first place. Now I think I've never changed. The Rider-Waite-Smith was my first tarot system. The Centennial is so beautiful because I love these vintage colors. I mean, this is definitely not a vintage deck, but I feel it's that thick stock, it's that the beautiful backs. The only thing I did was scratch off the copyright, and there you go. I had a deck that looked and felt like an actual vintage version, actual old, maybe even antique version of the deck, with the beautiful muted colors. They did not go too much overboard with the sepia tone or with the old look. I think it's perfect. When I look at this deck, when I read with it, I feel relaxed because of that. You should see my place. It's full of old things, full of things that had a history before I came into its life. Even though I bought this deck new, I kind of feel the same. Isn't that strange? But it's just because of this whole mood, this whole palette, everything is just that little bit darker. I was so happy when I saw the tower. I was used to the tower in the yellow box, plaid back, type font tower, which the tower itself is quite white and light, and this one is dark and almost blends into the black background. It feels relaxing. Also physically, it actually feels relaxing to my eyes. I can work with this deck all day, which I have done for myself, but also for clients, many clients at spiritual fairs. I have another copy that I use for clients because I have this thing of, this is my deck, and even though, yeah, people are allowed to touch it, but really, it's already, my spiritual imprint it's already in here. So this is my deck. This is actually the real one, and then I have another copy of this deck, which is for clients, and they're allowed to touch the cards, and you know what I mean. What else is it about this deck that makes me feel good? It really taps into that homey feel. Like I said, my home is filled with old items. This deck suits that. This deck suits that part of me. This deck is really bringing the focus on, I'm at home and I feel at home as well. We are in lockdown. We are supposed to stay at home, so might as well have a deck that makes you feel good about it. I think that's what this one does for me at the moment. Plus, it's very comfortable. That also fits in with that analogy. Then we have the Trionfi della Luna, which is also my favorite deck. The cards look so witchy. It's beautiful. This is actually, honestly, the same reason. I love this deck. I see myself in this deck. It allows me to be comfortable with my darker side. That sounds silly. I've mentioned this in the favorites tarot deck video, I think, is that I feel like one of these little monsters, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And working with this deck really does give me that confirmation of, they're all so friendly to me. They're all my friends. They're all telling me, all of the creatures in this deck are telling me, yes, you are one of us, and welcome. And also it's Marseille, which is, I really love that. It really brings a little bit more of that freedom, and I'm happy when I'm working with this deck that I don't have the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery to get a meaning from the card itself. You know, this deck is a very expressive Marseille already, so there is more to work with, in my opinion. But yeah, I think it's the same reason, and on top of that, the cards look so, they are so special. Isn't it great? You know, people who love tarot get to see such beautiful pieces of art every day. We get to work with them and interpret them, and yeah, it really works very well. It works like also a calm deck, but different to this one. This one has a little bit more of an air energy, even though it's very balanced. It's also earth. But then this one has, I would say maybe perhaps more the water element. I was actually thinking how funny it is that I feel that this deck would be more air and earth and this deck would be more water and fire. But actually, even though there's a lot of world burning there, to me that's just because the world of this tarot deck is the underworld, and this underworld is where everything is upside down, but I am upside down as well, and it's really just everything is scary, but in a good way. And like I said, like I am too a little monster. I too am a monster in this deck, and still I'm welcomed, and everyone's very friendly and very nice. So it is the underworld, but to me in this case, it's good place. It's a good place. It's a place you want to be at. Next, I am finishing the Holy Trinity of the Tarot systems, the Thoth. Okay, here we go. This is my greenie. I'm using this deck a lot because, well, first of all, I have figured out that the greenie of all the three Thoth decks, Crowley Harris decks that I own, this one is the one that really feels like when I'm holding this deck I feel so lucky, really. And it's great. It's green. It feels like a four-leaf clover when I am working with this deck. The reason I'm working with this deck right now is because I have the time, and I am really happy that I can not only learn this system and learn this deck, but also I finally can let go also a little bit and let my intuition go with this deck, where I look at the card, I look at the artwork, and I'm not necessarily distracted by the word, or actually understand a little bit better what it is, what it truly is. It's not a keyword, it's actually a title, and that's different. I'm not going to talk about it that much, but it's just where I look at this beautiful artwork, and let's just say it still is a very much new system to me, but I am enjoying just the personal experience with this artwork, what it really is starting to mean to me. This is all about discovering this deck. Still, it's gonna take a while, I'm sure, but yeah, beautiful. Basically the two reasons are to get to know this deck, but also to incorporate that information from the Thoth system into my practice. I'm gonna turn on a light. Next is the Elemental Tarot. I am not working with it nearly as much at the moment as I would like, but when I do, it's great. This is just a deck that I absolutely need to discover. If you were to ask me what does the Sun of Flames look like, I wouldn't be able to tell you. So, you know, I really don't know this deck yet. But I really do love it. Here, what did we get? Star, Hope. I am substance, and one who has no substance. Do not be ignorant of me. It's just absolutely love the artwork. I think they look amazing. Even though I don't get the deck yet, I don't really understand it yet, I don't actually grasp the depth or know it, like I said, there's something about it that makes me want to work with it now as well. Maybe because it is so fresh. With every card I draw, it feels like it's the first time, and practically is the first time that I've seen that card, that I actually seen that artwork, that I've tried to make out what it means. And so it's very pure, and I feel that I need that exploration, which is why I believe I'm not actually going through the deck and studying these cards. No, I'm really taking my time, even more than with the Thoth. I look at the card and try to make out what the symbols are, first of all, because it's very abstract, and then what they mean, and then I look in the little book, which is pretty cool, and I look up what god or goddess this is, what he or she represents. It's this whole digging kind of thing, this whole discovering, which I really truly enjoy, and I think it's great because it's so slow-paced. There is no pressure at all. It's nice alongside these two decks, which I know so well. They're the base. Then there's the Thoth, which I am slowly pulling in my practice. And then there's this deck, which is brand new, to me at least. I am exploring a whole new something, whatever it is. And it's great. It's like I need both of those energies. And then Morgan's Tarot. Now I'm not sure, because I'm actually pre-recording for the first time in my life. I'm not sure if I will have posted the video all about Morgan's Tarot, because I love this oracle so much. It's called Tarot, but it's an oracle. I really enjoy working with this. Morgan's Tarot is the type of deck that has no structure at all, and so therefore it's not even a question of thinking outside the box. The box never even was there. Let's see, any card that I think would be interesting right now. For instance, this one. How cool is this one? This card has no title. You see the Loch Ness Monster, and it says, "There are no others." What I'm getting from this, people meaning you, me, us, people tend to think in sections. People tend to see this divide. We live as if we are not one. We live as if we are divided, as if we are not a unity. We only see what is above the water. They look like sections, right? This is a section, this is a section, but actually, underneath the water, it actually makes one whole. The serpent is actually connected and it's whole above the water and underneath the water, and there is no divide, there is no section, there are no others. It's not us and them, it's we, us. So let's see. That's what I got from it. What does the booklet say about this card? Just to show you how crazy and way out there this deck is, and how I need that energy as well as the home base safe decks. I also need to go a little bit crazy. I also need to go a little bit outside of my usual thinking space. I really need to just have these little explosions, I guess. Let's see what the booklet says, because I actually really don't know that. Despite the truth of the claim that there is no reality but reality, and that wherever we look, we see nothing but God, or a manifestation of the universal divine consciousness, often in this weird universe, we find ourselves with the unmistakable impression that we are faced with somebody else. A guru might say, "I am you and you are me," and you might reply, "No, I am here and you are there." But if all pronouns are abolished, there is only one God in the bouncing universe. I guess this deck brings me that nice idea of, I am not stuck in one place. Absolutely not. I have the whole entire universe, and I can go wherever I want, in my head, in my imagination, in my dreams, in my astral plane, and I can be whoever I want, and I can do whatever I want, and all of that. You know what I mean? So I hope everyone else has a deck like that as well. I hope actually that everyone watching this video has decks that they are working with right now that feel good like this. I would actually love to see that if you have decks that are the home base, a learning tool, a thing that acts as the surprise element, a thing that really makes you have these little fun explorations of weird shit. I don't know how to explain this one, but and maybe some other things that some other energies that you might need. I'm wondering, does everyone else analyze what decks they are drawn to at the moment and what decks they are working with mostly, and then think of why that is? This was all pretty safe because honestly these are the 4 decks that I want to work with most at the moment, but then there's the wild card, which is Morgan's Tarot. And I don't know, maybe it will change next week. Maybe I'll feel like, oh, I really need to get out of this urban setting and I'll go towards my wildwood. And I want to visualize myself in that wildwood, in the woods. That's also kind of like an escape thing, right? For now, these are the decks that I'm using, and this is what they are bringing me right now. I really love that. I think it's balanced. I think it's really reflects what I need. Anyway, these are the 5 main decks that I'm using at the moment. It's not that different from the decks that I like to use on a daily basis that really just feel very good and comfortable, but I think now more than ever I need that just a little bit more. And so I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about this analogy, and maybe tell me about what decks you're working with and how they make you feel right now and how you feel that that is what you need and why you need it. Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share this with you. I hope that's okay. It's not obviously my entire collection. You can see a chunk of it behind me, but for now that's it, and I wish everyone a good evening. And oh yeah, happy Easter. I almost forgot, because Easter has never been my thing. Easter is all pastel, and I did Skype with some family members just because Easter usually is a time to go and see family, and of course this year it's different. So I hope everyone is taking care. I hope everyone is okay and their loved ones, and I will see you all later.